Now you remind me of my childhood because I used to watch Hercules. And I remember when I was in foster care at the children's shelter, we were watching Hercules.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
That show was the #1 TV show in the world by our 3rd year. We were in 176 countries. We passed Baywatch as the most watched show in the world.
Amazing.
I was getting over 2,000 letters a week pouring into New Zealand where I live. That's where we shot the series. There were so many letters in there from kids that were orphans and foster care saying, your show has given me hope. Your show shows me that I don't have to be angry all the time, that I don't have to fight all the time, that I can work my way around things to try to make things better. And you're a perfect example of somebody that said, yeah, I'm not gonna have people put a label on me.
Yeah, exactly.
I know that I can.
I know that I can do it.
You can blame the world. But you got to look in the mirror. You got to look. Cue Michael Jackson's song, "Man in the Mirror." Okay. Yeah. You got to look in the mirror and say, "What am I going to do about this? What am I going to do about these roadblocks in my life?" Because God, like I said, never promised an easy life.
Exactly.
You got to get out there and bust your butt.
You got to get out. Man, Kevin, let me tell you.
There's going to be a lot of no's. Okay. There's going to be a lot of rejection. A lot of failure. Those are positive words, not negative.
But no one ever said life would be easy, though. No one ever said that. No one ever said that, but anything is possible. Like I said, I remember sitting down, crisscross, applesauce, looking up at the TV, watching Hercules. And that took my mind off of the pain that I was going through. Sure. It took me away from all of that. And I was sitting up there watching Hercules, watching you on TV. Now I'm sitting across from you, interviewing you. Like, man, that is the American dream.
But you know what? That
is the American dream.
I got to give the writers credit for that. I had nothing to do with the writing on the show. I talked about, I would say, why is this? Can we change this a little bit here or something? Yeah, but the writers always wrote really good moral messages. Even though it was mythological, it wasn't biblical.
Yes.
They wrote really good positive messages. We put a lot of humor into it.
Yes.
Because it was too easy of a show to get laughed at. You wanted to laugh with us.
Yes.
So there was always a lot of humor. We had some serious episodes, but for the most part, when you saw the fight scenes, if I throw a guy through the wall, it's his body cut out, that went through that wall or something.
Right.
And we just always made it fun. They put a sound effect every time. I turn my head, they put a sound effect on it, And it was just, people were in on the wink, wink joke with us. Yeah. It's like a little bit of Gilligan's Island.
I used to watch dang, Hercules just beat up a giant. And Hercules
how old are you now?
31.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Hercules just beat up a giant.
This makes me feel old. You were just a little kid, man. We shot that show from 1993 to 2000.
Man, it was an awesome show.
But I had a blast. 7 years in New Zealand. It was a God's gift to me, and it was supposed to just be 5 2-hour movies. Anthony Quinn plays Zeus. For people that know Anthony Quinn, please look him up. He's from the golden age of Hollywood, from the 40s and 50s and 60s, and he's the guy that was in. He was nominated for 6 Academy Awards. He won twice. He was 3/4 Mexican, 1/4 Irish. So his last name was Quinn, Irish name, but he was mostly Mexican.
Yes.
He was in Guns of Navarone. He was in Lawrence of Arabia, major thing. Sorbo the Greek, which is massive. Requiem for Heavyweight, where he won his Oscar. I mean, it's just, the guy was amazing and was supposed to be 5-2-hour movies. Halfway through the 3rd movie, Universal said, "There's nothing like this on TV. We're gonna make it a series now." Well, by our 3rd season, we spun off Xena. But I
love Xena too.
But what came out in season 3 besides Xena? Everybody, if you're successful in television, anything, people will try to copy that.
Yeah.
So when we spun off Xena in my 3rd year, Xena wouldn't have existed without Hercules, because it just wouldn't have existed.
Yes.
So Lucy Lawless was lucky to be in New Zealand at the time because she was local. It would have been somebody else to get in that role. Season 5, we spun off Young Hercules. And the guy who played young Hercules, that show only lasted 2 years, was devastated when they canceled him after 2 years. And I took him out to lunch and we're talking. I said, "You're a good actor. You'll do fine." His name, he was a 20-year-old Ryan Gosling that played young Hercules.
For real?
And now he's Ryan Gosling. Oh, yeah.
Wow. I wanted to be Hercules.
That's where it started, man.
I wanted to be the young Hercules.
I'm sure if they redo Hercules, they'll make him black. They'll make him black.
Yeah, right.
They will.
He'll be black now.
Or a transgender. I don't know. But they'll do something like that. In today's world, they definitely. But that same year we spun off Xena, all the other studios spun off Sheena, another female thing. They spun off Robin Hood, Tarzan, Sinbad, Conan. There was a Sheena.
Sheena. So if there's another Hercules, what would it be called? Hercules?
I don't know. I don't know what they would do with it. But everybody tried to copy what we did, but they never caught us in the ratings. We were the most watched show in the world, and that was pretty cool. Then I did Andromeda for 5 years after that.
Okay.
And Andromeda I was a big Gene Roddenberry fan. I love the original Star Trek series. So my captain, Dylan Hunt, was the first captain ever created by Gene Roddenberry after Captain Kirk. So I did that for 5 years. That show was in 156 countries. So I had 12 straight years of just nonstop work, which was awesome.
Now, when you auditioned for Hercules, were you their first choice?
No. They had, at that time, things were starting to go pretty well for me. I did 2 pilots back to back that didn't get picked up. I didn't lose heart because I remember reading about Tom Selleck did 7 pilots before he got Magnum PI.
Okay.
That didn't get picked up.
Yeah.
But I had the lead in 2 different pilots. And so I knew things were starting to go pretty well for me, that I was starting to get bigger auditions. When they called me in for Hercules, I kind of laughed at first. I was a big guy. I mean, I'm 6'3", 210 now, but I was 6'3", 225 back then. Pretty ripped up. But I said, they're going to want like a guy that's 300-pound steroid dude with no neck. They're going to want a real, no. They want a guy that looks like an NFL quarterback. That size guy, or decathlon. So I went in, and sure enough, all the guys there were roughly my size, all athletic looking guys that looked like they run 100 yard, but they could still work out. And then they called me back 6 more times. So 7 times they called me in. They auditioned 2,800 actors in North America. 2,000? Not just LA where I was living. They went San Francisco, LA, Chicago, New York, Toronto, Vancouver. And so my last call back, there were 2 other guys. They were down the last 3 guys. And I was at Universal Studios. It was in a theater room where I had to stand on stage. There was like 50 people there. It was all the entire television things of men and women and sorry if I mispronounce pronouns, ladies and gentlemen. That were there, and I got on stage. Sam Raimi was our exec producer. Sam Raimi did the Evil Dead and Spider-Man movies. He did the last Doctor Strange movie. And I said, you guys aren't giving any direction. What do you want? They go, no, we like what you're doing. Just read it one more time. And they said, okay, would you take your shirt off, please? And I was pretty ripped up. So I took my shirt off. And, okay. You're in good shape. If you get the role, would you shave your chest and stomach? I'm not like Robin Williams, hairy back. I'm just got a nice man cover. And I said, shave. I said, I thought you wanted a man for this role. And I started to walk off the stage. And I got a big laugh. And then I flew to Vancouver to do an episode of Michael Chiklis had a series back then, a Stephen Cannell series called The Commish. And so I did a guest spot on it. And they called me halfway through the film and they said, you got the role. And I spent the next 2 weeks training with Douglas Wong. Douglas Wong was one of Bruce Lee's original students in LA. And I did all kinds of weapon training and falling and all this kind of stuff. Then I went to New Zealand and 7 years, man. It was awesome.
Wow.
It was just
such a blessing.
It opened up everything for me. And since then I've shot over 80 movies. So I'm doing things through my own studio and through other people getting a hold of me outside of the Hollywood system because I really don't have a manager or agent anymore.
Yeah. That's amazing. So when you were growing up, did you always want to be an actor?
Since I was 11. I grew up in a little town of 7,000 people.
7,000 people?
7,000 just west of Minneapolis, about 25 miles west of Minneapolis.
Wow, so you knew everybody in the town.
Oh, yeah. And my dad was a school teacher. We didn't have any money. I'm not going to paint a bad picture for me. My dad was a school teacher with 5 kids. Mom stayed home. My clothes are hand-me-downs from my older brothers. But I never felt without. My dad didn't make any money as a teacher. I remember my growing up, I remember him just anguishing at the table the last couple of days of every month. And saying, because there's 4 boys in the family and my one sister. And he'd go, will you boys stop drinking so much milk? Will you stop, drink more water? Because, we didn't have money to spend for us. So I got a paper route when I was 9 years old. I got up 6 days a week, 4:30 every morning, delivering 80 papers in Minnesota weather. Okay.
Throwing papers?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. You had to run up to the doors and put them in. You you had to get out and run to the house, put it in between the screen because it was Minnesota weather, all rain and snow. It's 20 below. And I learned for 7 years I did that. So I learned a lot of responsibility by doing that and hard work. My dad instilled hard work in all of us. But I was 11. Our school went to the Guthrie Theater. The Guthrie Theater is a very famous theater. Guthrie Theater. Arlo Guthrie is an English actor. Okay. So the Guthrie Theater in Minneapolis, you can Google it. Very famous theater. Yeah. There's more theater per capita in Minneapolis, St. Paul than there is in Hollywood, than there is in New York City. They really support the community of the arts. So it was The Merchant of Venice. So it was Shakespeare. I'm 11. I don't know what the hell they were saying. It was Shakespeare, but I was mesmerized by the actors on stage. My mom was a chaperone. I was on the bus sitting next to my mom and she said, what do you think? I said, you gotta be an actor. She said, that's nice, dear. but
that's cute.
But the reality, exactly. But the reality was I didn't tell anybody other than my mom because I was a jock, football, basketball, baseball guy. And our town, like the 7,000 people, 5,000 would show up for our high school football games. And if I told my high school buddy, my football buddies, they made fun of me for playing golf, for crying out loud. They all play golf now. Yes. But back then they said, you play golf? And I said, yeah, it's fun, you know. But it wasn't until I got to college, a double major, marketing, advertising, double business major, but I took a minor in drama because I knew what I wanted to do. And I started doing a lot of commercials Minneapolis in St. Paul is home to a lot of national headquarters like Best Buy, Target, 3M, Honeywell, Pillsbury, General Mills. So I did a lot of commercials during my college years, and I got that all important Screen Actors Guild card, the SAG card. So I had no problem when I moved to LA to get a commercial agent. Yeah. Because I had a great reel already that had national commercials on it. So that part was easy for me. And I was lucky. I was one of the few guys I know in Hollywood that never had to wait tables or bartend or something. I showed over 100.
But you did throw papers in the code.
When I was 9 years old, yeah.
You're 9 years old.
But I mean,